Gentlemen, we've got a fine show for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top of the order queue there. You aren't going to believe.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Turn around to your right. I don't want to go into the sun, but I just want to...
What is up, guys and girls? How the blooming devil are ya? What a week, what madness, and I hope you're all ready, excited, and prepared for another Friday Night Live. I hope you got your coffee ready. I hope you're already in a festive mood. Maybe you've clocked out of work, maybe you haven't. I've got my fingers crossed for you that you do have some holiday season upon you, and my heart goes out to all the people that are either still working or do have to work all the way through the festive season. Yes, it's here, the end near enough of 2023. Also with it brings, I believe, the 19th live show. Can you believe it? Yeah, I still get absolutely excited, nervous, anxious, and all the rest. Freak out a little bit before the show, and try to do my very best to bring you a little bit of entertainment on a Friday night. But hey, where would you rather be? So, if you're here, as always, I will say I will try my very best to keep an eye on the live chats. And if there are questions or things that need to be addressed, I will pick up on them. If I do miss them, I apologize now, because yes, I am merely a human being, and no, I can't do many more than two things at once. If I can talk and pour a cup of coffee, I'm winning. If I got to keep my eye on the prize, on the comments, as well as pour coffee and entertain, gets a little bit ropey around the edges. But what a show we have for you tonight. I'm already buzzing on a level that buzzing is just, yeah, cannot put into words how much I'm looking forward to this evening's show. As always, I will don some stupid glasses and bring you the most weirdest and peculiar news from the week gone by. I was super stoked when this week I was speaking to a colleague and a few other people that are congregated on a tea break, and I happened to mention one of the stories from last week's news, which was the gentleman that was caught going through customs while smuggling otters in his pants. And one of the guys there actually said there's a TV show in the UK called Have I Got News For You? And they'd actually reported that on the Friday night, I think at something like 9 o'clock, whereas we brought it to you at sort of like 11. But man, that was like a salute to me to say, hey, you know, we are doing well when it comes to hitting you with the best and most important stories, shall we say. Because who doesn't want to know about somebody smuggling otters in their pants? How have you been? How is the week treating you? Are you here live? Are you watching it after the event? Wherever it is that you are, I hope you're winning. I hope you're in a positive mindset, and I hope you're pushing towards your goals and your dreams. Most of all, I hope you're doing your very best to take over the world in your way and bringing your creativity to a world that is always in need of some authentic, genuine, and pretty awesomeness. Because let me just say, the more and more I try to get those news stories, the more it seems that the world is kind of gnarly, and as I like to say here, the madness truly is real, and oh my god, don't we just know it. So it's lovely to see the live chats filling up already. It's the usual suspects. Good evening, Mr. Chill Adventures. Good evening, Dave Usan. I'm really hoping that the legendary Dan Cov makes an appearance, or he's at least tuned in on the headphones at this one while he works, because it's going to be a banger. Great to see you here, Mr. Chris. I know you've had an extremely crazy week, so I'm glad to hear that everything's kind of panned out and that you're home relaxing and ready to get the festive season going. And also, none the other than Mr. Cockney Buddha. So again, Friday night salute goes to all you lovely people. Thank you for taking the time out and tuning in and, you know, joining us on this wonderfully crazy show that we do, just to try to break away from the norm and tune out but tune in at the same time and just get a little bit of, I don't know, a vibe going before the weekend hits and the madness continues. Because oh my days, is this weekend going to be a mad one? Christmas is on the horizon. I hope you've got all your presents wrapped. Have you? Let me know in the comments below, because I can tell you one thing, I've got all the presents but I ain't even started wrapping yet. And yeah, last minute, you reckon? I'll be lucky. I'll bet I'll be wrapping them about 10 minutes before Andrea wakes up and she'll just open them. So if I do manage to do that, it's a win. So I will give you a heads up. This week's news might even be a little bit shorter than normal, because there's only a few mad stories that I wish to report. And the other thing is, I'll give you the heads up. Make sure you have your beverages ready. Make sure you're comfortable. And yes, we do have this evening a very special guest. So I'm going to crack in with the news. And you know what time it is. You know that it's all good when the glasses go on and the abuse in the live starts. So I can't hold it for you any longer, man. Let's do the news. Good evening, guys and girls. It's Friday night. It's Friday Night Live. And this is your news. The articles this week, you know we like to bring you the best of the best. It's a bit of a crazy one. We all know, like, everybody loves a catnap, right? So this little crazy story is a little bit of a push at a catnap. But basically, sleeping cats artwork appears on fields thanks to a one man's hobby. The rice paddies in northern Thailand have had a rather unique addition in recent weeks as a massive art display of sleeping cats. Now, there is a video, I think, of a drone flying over this. If you guys want to go off and investigate, it's pretty incredible and it was almost hard to believe however this dude's done this. As always, you know me on the stories. I like to bring you words I can't pronunciate correctly and mess it up. It wouldn't be right if I didn't. So, 3 enormous kittens snuggled up with fish and snoozing have popped up thanks to the hard work of a rice farmer. Check this one out. Tanya Pong Kaikam, a full-time factory worker. I think I've done well there. Probably butchered that pronunciation. A full-time factory worker, part-time farmer, has tackled a pet project that turns flood fields into art. Since October, he's been spending his weekends in his hometown of Bangkok Song, in Thailand, and implementing his agricultural experience using rainbow rice. The most gnarliest part about that is I've never heard of rainbow rice, but dude, go and check it out. It's an amazing what this guy's done. And if I'm ever a lover of somebody doing anything for a passion and not just for like a financial gain, this dude, man, putting in his weekends to do this and just for the love of it, you got to give him credit, and it's pretty amazing if you ask me. So yes, the festive season is upon us, and I'm imagining you didn't have to go out into the wilderness, chop down your own Christmas tree and drag it into your house. If you've ever had a real tree, you'll know the stress and the struggle of trying to get a fully grown tree through a stupid front door, pulling it into your house, dropping needles everywhere and just causing absolute bedlam before the festive season, because that's just what you need, more stress at the time of year. Can you imagine it? If you were to drag a Christmas tree in your house, leave it there for 3 days, and then find this dude living in it. Yes, a family found a baby owl living in their Christmas tree. The intruder had spent 4 days hidden in the tree in the family home before it was discovered. One family got a little something extra when they picked up their Christmas tree this year, and they received the baby owl in it. Go and check that again. There's a video online about this guy with this baby owl in his house. Every year, the White family in Lexington, Kentucky, pick their own tree, bring it into their home. This year was no different. And it wasn't until 4 days after. How the hell do you even do that? Either that owl was just like living his best life and didn't want to be found, or they weren't really paying. Like, how do you even decorate it? I suppose maybe they didn't. I don't know. But it wasn't until the 4th day that they're saying it here, that they had it put up in the living room. That's when they were going to decorate, that they found this owl. And I'm assuming the owl has been adopted by them for the festive season, or possibly put in the oven and roasted. Who knows? Depends on how hard the inflation's been on them this year. Santa hat on the door. Now, you know we like to bring you a little bit of smut on the Friday Night Live news. And I don't know if I'm shocked by this. I was shocked by one part of this article, but that just made me question my seediness. However, this is a Friday night public service announcement. Increased risk of penile fractures over Christmas, doctors warn. Yes, it is a warning from your awesome Friday Night Live. This study basically has found that penile fractures increased during weekends over summer, but not on New Year's Eve. They're saying that over the festive season, penile fractures go through the roof. Hospital admissions were unaffected by the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns, but nowhere near as bad as what it happens over the Christmas period. For many Christmases, it's the most wonderful time of the year, but doctors have warned the festive season is also associated with a significant increase in embarrassing injuries in the bedroom. Warning. The story below contains descriptions of sexual injuries. Sorry, getting too excited for the next bit. Penile fractures are considered a medical emergency and often heralded by an audible crack. Now, that is the bit that got me in this article. Dude, if you hear an audible crack, you know something's gone bad from the get-go. Followed by severe pain. Yeah, I just think the crack would do it. Basically, they warn such injuries are caused by a forceful bending of an erect penis during aggressive sexual intercourse, featuring, and this bit made me laugh as well, unusual sexual positions, i.e. reverse cowgirl. Now, I don't know about you guys and girls, but I wouldn't necessarily put reverse cowgirl into an unusual sexual position. Pretty much standard, isn't it? I don't know. But just be careful. Enjoy your festive season. Don't go breaking nothing. Stay safe, stay strapped up, and share the love, something like that, eh? You heard it here first on the one, the only, the Friday Night News.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to Friday Night Live with the Grom.
Well, would you expect anything less, ladies and gentlemen? You know, when we bring you the news, we try to bring you all of the weirdest, the wackiest, and a little bit of something to maybe titter or chuckle of a weekend. The first story, I've got to give props out and say, seriously, go and check it out. I know it's a little bit of a whack job when it comes to like the news. It's not on the level of complete insanity. But let's just say, spending your weekends doing that artwork in those the rice fields, it is absolutely remarkable. It always used to blow my mind on an old TV show back in the 90s, like a kid's art show called Art Attack, that this dude called Neil Buchanan would do these amazing pictures from above. Now, bearing in mind that this is like way before the times of having personal drones in your life or whatever else, they obviously had their ways and the means. I'm assuming a camera on a crane or a blooming great big boom. And he would obviously do this amazing artwork before your eyes. Well, the magic of television, I imagine, helped a little. But just from the sky, and it would be incredible by the end of it. Now, I don't know how this guy's gone about doing it in Thailand, but man, let's just say, on the scale that he's done it, I can't even deal with doing too much art on an A4 bit of paper. So to be able to do it across however many acres of field, absolutely unbelievable. And you've got to just take your hat off. Definitely a Friday night salute to the cook in the cornfield. So yeah, got to love that. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the news. It was a little bit short, but there is only one reason why it is short, and that is because I wanted to use all of the battery, and I wanted to use all of the show on one thing and one thing only, and that is the gentleman that we have in as a guest tonight. And let's just say I am absolutely, I don't know, I'm more than excited. And if I freak out a little bit and do like I've done in past shows where I absolutely just keep nervously talking over the guest, I apologise. But this evening's guest is an absolute legend. It is none other than the Genesis Elijah. Dude, absolute honour to have you here. And thank you, because I know for you being a UK dweller that this is stupid o'clock on a Friday night. So thank you. I appreciate the hell out of you being here, dude. And
all good, man. Good.
How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I can't complain. I've just been kind of doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Haven't really done a lot of music myself this year, but just been gearing up for next year.
That's what I've been saying that already in the last couple of weeks. While everybody's getting ready to sort of chill out, feed themselves up, I want to be getting prepared, ready, so I can come out of that gate absolutely running, dude.
100%, man. 100%.
Now, let me just, I just want to jump in here with a couple of things first. One, I want to say, dude, while I have you here, not many people will know this. However, we had the opportunity to meet like 4 years ago for the video shoot in Slough.
Okay.
For LA, starting all over again.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah.
Now, dude, if it hadn't been for that day was one of those moments where me and you conversing about how, like, yeah, we should, if it's a 90s video, you need to shoot low level, go pointing up. And you looking at me like, dude, if you want to get down there and get that shot, here's a camera, right? Now, I tell you what, that was a real turning moment for me, because that day was the day that gave me the confidence to turn around and say, do you know what? I can actually do this. I can pick up a camera and give this a go. And
of course.
Yeah. I mentioned it in I've been doing a daily vlog now, and I think we're at like 1,453 days. Yeah, crazy. So little bit mental, but I think in like day 8 I actually mentioned saying like well, of the original vlogs, long story, but just saying like props to you, props to Joker Star and to LA for that day, because it was a monumental moment for me, dude, and it definitely changed my trajectory in the madness that is all of this stuff, dude. So thank you for that. But for all of the guys and girls that are watching now, I'm gonna try to make you a little bit sort of, I don't know, maybe even blush, dude. Let's see how well did our research team do on this. Now, am I right in thinking, as accolades go, you're a rapper, a singer-songwriter, a videographer, a designer, you own your own clothing brand, you're a model, a booking agent, a youth worker.
That's true, yeah.
And you managed to keep a family and keep your sanity, dude. How do you do it?
I don't know. It's like I think it's a little bit of there's a bit of, I don't know, what's the right word, man? A bit of ADHD kind of like thrown in there. There's a little bit of fear of the fear of failure. I always got to be busy. I can't concentrate on one thing for too long. So I got to move. I got to move quickly and do a lot of things. And just the idea of like, yo, you don't have this opportunity forever. So once you have these opportunities, you have to take them. So yeah, that's what keeps me going, man.
Well, you do a damn good job of it, dude.
No, thank you.
And again, so like, this is just a bit of fanboying now. I'm just going to fanboy out a little bit, yeah? So I wanted to go on a little bit of my own rabbit hole to find out where I stand on the Genesis Elijah back catalogue.
Okay.
Right? And it was more so because I was like, I wanted to sit, I was sat thinking, when did I first come aware?
Yeah.
Dude.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I was sat, and do you know what was really gnarly? So in a past life, man, I got my turntables still, but they ain't set up. And I'd have thrown this straight on because I was searching over the internet. The only place that I could find it, shameless plug for you, dude, was on Spotify, right? But I wanted to listen to that Might Never, because that was the first time that I ever heard you, dude. And like, for me, I was just like, man.
Who produced that? Who was the production on that?
Dude, well, the beat is Beat Butcher, isn't it? Production by Beat Butcher.
Come on, man. Beat Butcher's now producing for Beyonce and SZA and Griselda. Like, this is where we started.
Dude, and this is what cracked me up, because like dude, that's your bro, right, isn't it?
Yeah, man. My little
and
brother.
like, man, looking at, because I had to dig for this, dude. My records are reachable, but let's just say in a if it's my missus's candles or crystals and it's my vinyl, you got to dig to get to my vinyl. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? But dude, and then, right, because it don't stop there. I just want to give you props for that, dude.
Nah, cool, man.
Because this is another gentleman, obviously the Mr. Greg Blackman and Soul Condor, Dell.
Yeah.
Salute Dell for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put all of the links for this guy because, as I was saying, I went on a rabbit hole and I thought I had a little something, dude. Yeah. I've got like Depon Road, and I've got the Vision album. And
Sick.
dude, when I started digging, I was like, man, I ain't even got the tip of the iceberg. Like, your back catalogue is something to be inspired by. So if there is any musicians listening, man, just go down the rabbit hole. I started this afternoon, man. I think I've got a festive season ahead of me of digging, dude.
There's a lot of music out there, man.
Because
there's a lot
but it just keeps going, man. It goes on. And the people you've worked with, from, like you're saying there, Beat Butcher, Past the Dutchie, Great Crusaders, like, that was another thing that got me through the gym, dude.
Yeah.
And there is some tunes. Who, without trying to like nudge anyone else out, who has been your favourite to work with in the years?
Do you know what? In all the years, like, I say, like, there's almost like two different eras. And I kind of so when I first started making music, obviously Beat Butcher was around, but Tom Caruana was like the main producer. So he was the person I was working with the most when I was kind of like forming who I was as an artist. So he was the first producer I was around, and kind of just seeing how he would make beats and kind of giving him samples, and like, that's kind of when I first started figuring out, oh, this is how music goes. Then there was a jump to I guess knee high. So like, when you're listening, like, when you talk about Industrial Revolution around that time, so then I started working with knee high, which was sick. And then there's like a massive gap in time where I'm just kind of like, it's the Past the Dutchie era, like, super strong. But if you listen to Vision, so Vision is different, because Vision is the first time I'm working with Shapes, and that's like a massive jump. That's like Eminem working with Dre. That's when it goes to, oh, this isn't just bedroom music. This is global music now. Things are being done the correct way, and even from there, changing, like, oh, how I make music now. So I would say Shapes is my favorite person to work with, because it's like, this is the thing as well. When you're making music, you have to be able to trust that the producer knows what they're doing. And for someone like me, it's very hard for me to do that. Like, I need to, how are you mixing my vocals? How are you doing the backups? Like, How are you? All this stuff. I'm a super control freak. But somebody like Shapes, I don't have to do nothing. I just know I could send him the bare minimum, and he's gonna make gold out of it. So to me, that was the easiest time. And when I did my single a week in 2021, Shapes either co-produced or mixed and mastered all of those. And it was just, he made the process so easy.
This is something else that I've got to give you credit for, dude. Because again, reading out that little list of like what you do or what you've got, I could do like, I reckon we could do like an entire 3-hour show just breaking down all the little bits that you manage. And
100%.
There's so much in that list that I was like, dude, I could have a whole questionnaire show with you just on one of them subjects.
Because this is the thing though, people forget, like when I say I'm an independent artist, every single thing you need to be an artist, I have done. Yeah. So from so like from the reason I can do these things, like when we say like the music videos and stuff, the reason I started doing music videos is because I was trying to get videos done. And you can even see it if you go on YouTube. There's almost no videos of mine past like 2011. There's a few, but nothing major. After 2011, a whole bunch of videos, because what happened was I figured out, oh wait, if I just buy a camera, watch some YouTube, how hard can it be? And I just figured it out. Okay, what's the best camera to get? Cool, let's get that. How do you edit? Cool, let's do that. Calling people up, yo, how do you do that? What's that filter? Like just finding out all the different steps, and then it becomes, yo, who did your video? I did my video. Can you do my video? Yeah, okay, cool. And that becomes a business in itself. So like same with graphic design.
You made it. You made it a business, and why? Because it's Escape Route Media.
Escape Route Media. Yeah.
Is that still live? Is that still like a?
It is. We still work. I don't shoot videos anymore. Okay. I shoot my own videos sometimes, but I have staff now that shoot other people's videos still. Yeah.
And I also noticed in a little story that you're rolling in a BMW these days as well, my friend.
That's like, man, that's like.
But the last, because I can't even remember what you rocked up in. Was it like a little Renault you had?
What did I have? Nah, that might have been the Peugeot, man.
Yeah, because I remember you being like, the glamorous life of being like a rap star, where you were like quick costume change in the back and that. And I was like, dude, seriously, that was just such a beautiful thing, man. I was like, that's real. That is real.
Yeah, that might have been because I didn't start driving until 2016.
Yeah, okay.
And I didn't buy my own car until like 2018 or 2000.
It's understandable, my friend, because you were off basically planning to take over the world.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in that stuff. I was just because that's the thing as well. It's like for me, I was like, it's like, what are you focused on? I was just focused on music for so long. I was just focused on, in this world, how do I become the person I want to be? Like, how do I'm on the outside of the industry, and I'm just trying to figure out how do people do things. And all the things I learned by looking. So, which is really the worst way to learn. Like the worst way to learn is to see something, is to look at a magic trick and try and figure it out.
Yeah, dude.
Like it's never going to work for you. And you're going to find a version of it, which is what I did. I had a version of everything, but it wasn't the best way to do it. And
it's only really longer, doesn't it?
Way longer. And it's really only been the last maybe 2 or 3 years where I'm on the inside now, and I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. Oh, that's cool. Of course it didn't work for me, because I wasn't even doing the right things. I was like, none of it, everything I was doing the wrong way. And I remember speaking to Nova, and I was like, bro, I am surprised that we made it this far, because everything we did it the wrong way. Like it was.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, man, you say the wrong way, but like, I see it different, dude. I see it like, there's like your main track. This is the track that you got to go down, right? This is how, if you want to go through the colleges for the music production, and you want to like get into the live circuit, you got to be talking to these people. and all that kind of thing. And then there's like the path that you need to beat on your own that gives you almost the standing in appreciation to where you get to at the end of the journey.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think the problem is how can I put it? We're on this track and we're running down it and we know where we're trying to get to and we're keeping up with everyone else around us and we're like, but barely keeping up. Obviously, like the guys with the big names, the whoever you want to mention, man, the Chipmunks, the Tiny Tempers, the Sways, they're all moving ahead of us. And we see them come and they move past us and we're like, damn, like, how do we get there? And then you realize, oh, wait, they weren't even running, man. They were in a car and it was a fast car and there was a lot of people involved in it. You were just by yourself. So there was no way you were going to catch up with what they were doing.
The car was paid for, man. It was paid
100%.
for, dropped,
Right.
and you just jumped in the side, man.
So you're correct here because it means, yeah, you did do it the correct way. And what it does mean now, it means like in the position that I'm in, I have supreme confidence just of how things can work when you, or what you need to make them work. Because I've done it. So it's like, I can kind of, I see the game from a totally different angle. And I understand, like, I put a post out the other day about the vanity metrics. The industry is all vanity metrics.
Yeah.
And to be in the industry, you kind of need that. But for me, if you're an independent artist, really what's important, it's never the vanity metrics. It's the real people. Like, who is it? So it doesn't have to be 1 million views or 10,000 views, all that kind of stuff. That's cool. Who's in the chat? Like, how many people? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Cool. If that's what it is, that's what you have. That's your engagement. That's how you move.
Now, again, this is how deep my research goes, right? Am I right in believing you played a gig? Was it? I don't know if I'm getting my wires crossed here. I can't remember if it was like, I know you played Glastonbury, right?
Yeah.
And you also arranged a gig in Watford. Now, which one? Somewhere in those stories, I vaguely remember you saying that there was like 15 people turn up or something.
I had a bunch of gigs like that. I've had more gigs with not a lot of people than gigs with loads of people. Like I've had, and I would say, to be honest, the gigs that I've had the most fun with have been the ones where it's just the hardcore fan, like people that come for you, man. I've had gigs where we've gone there and it's been absolutely packed, but no one really knows who I am. Yeah, and it's cool. I do my performance, but it's like they didn't really come for you. I would rather have the 30 people, the 15 people that came just to see you. Like that's the stuff that I love. And that's where I have, it means that once I've done the show, I can actually speak to all people, everyone that was there. We can have a conversation and we can like really kind of build and have an experience rather than having, I've done shows all over the world, thousands of people. I've done Wembley Stadium, thousands of people, but like it's cool, but it's not.
I know what you're saying, man.
I'll give you this, yeah. I'll say this. My show in Watford was pretty good. Had friends and family, was wicked. Love that show. I love that show way more than the Wembley Stadium show. The Wembley Stadium show was a once in a lifetime thing. It's cool. Not a lot of people ever get to do it. It's amazing. Just
to cut in, but was that the old Wembley or the new?
When was this? 2016. So I don't know.
That'd have been
like 12,000.
Yeah, okay. But still, dude, Wembley on the ticket, that's like some people's dream, dude.
100%. It's cool, but it weren't my dream.
I smashed one out in Watford, it'll be good.
That's what my people there, man. That's what I want. Like I would rather have just my people and just us have our fun. Because once again, if we, oh my God, this is a really good example. Once again, you kind of got to break down, like, why do you do this? Like, what's the reason that you're actually doing the music? And once you break that down and you understand it, then all your movements become very crystal clear. So I make music for 2 reasons. When I'm in the studio, I'm making a song because I want it to be the best song I can possibly make. That's what I want. Nothing else enters my head apart from how can I make this song the best song ever? How can I say the flyest shit, the best shit? How can I say something that is going to even, I like to surprise myself. I like to say shit and go, oh shit. Did I just say that? That's crazy. That's what I love. I love that. That's that bit. That when I said that bar, the algorithm is the antichrist. When I said that, I was like, ooh, goosebumps. Like, that's why I do it, right? So that's the only reason. As soon as a song is done, it's mixed, it's mastered. Now it's money time. How do we sell this? How do we get it to the people? What's the marketing behind it? Like, how do we package it? Where do we put it? Like, that's it. That's how I move. So
now I think you've almost got, like you were saying earlier about maybe doing it the wrong way, but I think we kind of come from that generation where the hustle was real. It's not sat at the end of a phone where you're like, oh yeah, I've put out 12 posts over 12 different platforms. Like, you came from the day of mixtape CDs and getting out there and physically being like, buy my CD.
yeah.
Yeah.
Numbers game. Yeah.
And it's crazy that we never crossed paths earlier, because so obviously I'm based in Aylesbury, born and raised in Wickham, spent a lot of time going backwards and forwards between the two. And the amount of times where I bumped into AC in Wickham, or I'd go to a gig and he'd be outside and you'd be like, I see you in Wickham like literally 4 days back. And now we're in Brixton or something and he's out front at like some stupid o'clock at night being like in the queue.
Yeah, man.
And like, I don't know, like I checked out of music in 2013. So there is a very limited arrangement of people that I kind of still check in on. But I'm not in the game, man. I ain't got my ear to the ground. But from what I see and what I hear, and admittedly this is only coming from a very mainstream and then the little bits that filter in, I don't know. Obviously things have changed, man, but I feel like having that grind behind you and having that come up puts you in a different place, man, like mentally.
100%, because it's like everything I've ever got has come from the grind. It's come from the hustle. And
hence the clothing, dude.
It had to be it, man. And that's funny because we came up with this it came up in 2008. And the original, this logo that I made with AC, because this was the time when I didn't even know how to use graphic design. And I went, AC did graphic design and animation in uni.
Okay.
So I went to his yard and was like, bro, I've got this idea. Like, how can we put this together? And that was the logo we came up with, like way back then. So
but it stood strong, dude. It still looks fresh, man.
It's been our thing. It's worked, man. But like, I think just the way that our brains works. We like when we came up, man, like me, AC, Terror, we're very like, we think very similarly. Obviously, me and Terror, like when we were coming up, we were very similar just because we were together all the time. AC coming into that mix, AC is literally like the third brother. Now I talk to AC way more than I speak to Terror. Yeah. But like our minds was just like, yo, if we need to get from A to B, how do we get there? Oh, we got to do this. All right, let's go. And we just work, man. Like it's just relentless and it's never stopped. It's always been a case of what is the strategy? Figure the strategy out. Cool. Then it's a numbers game. Then we just bang it out. So
dude, I think sometimes as well, like having someone like that to just get in your corner, and those days when your head might be down or you feel like the universe is kicking your ass, and then you got somebody else being like, "Nah, we got this, man. Let's go."
Bro, I don't think it was even that.
No,
because there wasn't even. I wouldn't even say like, especially back then, there wasn't even any down days because it was just
hungry.
We're just there. Like even if I tell you from like the Tom Caruana days. So I met AC when I was 18. Terror was 17.
So what were we saying, like 2000, 2002?
That's before 2000. This was like maybe
late 90s.
I'm trying to like 2000, like maybe a little bit before that, maybe like 98, 99.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was definitely before. I didn't move in with Tom Caruana until after the millennium. So it was before that. So I was at that time. Caruana was still at Westminster University. Jest was over there, like.
Because, dude, you came through and like, I think I've heard you mention it on like. So again, guys and girls, if you are not familiar with a YouTube channel called Hip Hop TV, Hip Hop UK TV, I'm going to put the link in the description below, because if you're interested in the history of UK hip hop, just go and check the channel out, because this gentleman here has done some amazing interviews or just chill out conversations that, dude, when I was listening to him when you were doing those, that itself is like, it's just an amazing little landmark, I think. We're going to look back on what you did there, dude, and those conversations with those people. And it captured a time which I am really fortunate to have bared witness to. But you boys were there, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, like, but bro, like I've said this story so many times here. So one time I'm at home. It's it must have been a Wednesday or Saturday, and I'm at home. I'm just chilling. Terror comes home, and this is about maybe like 1, 2 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Where you been? He's like, oh, I was at this club. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, man. Like, Skinny Man was there. Task Force were there. I'm like, wait. What are you talking about, bro? He's like, yeah, man. I'm at WKD in Camden. Everyone was just there. I'm like, what? Like, and this is really in a time where I'm just getting into UK hip hop. So I'm like, I'm really trying to figure out who are the people, and these are the names. So Shorty Blitz had a show, and whoever he was playing like Ty and Roots Maneuver, Black Swag. So like, these guys were just accessible. They were just there. So we would go to places, we'd go Dill Real or anywhere, and you would just see like whoever you could think of that you just heard, they were just there.
Yeah.
You're like,
see, I was, because I'm on the end of that Marylebone line, it changes the game up, dude. Because there's funny how, depending on who you spoke to, they'd say, oh, you're really close to London. But from being in London, you'll know that being out here, it's like, you might as well be on a different continent, man.
True. And at the time we was in Harrow, so we weren't even like, I wasn't in Brixton at the time, so we still have to travel in. But to be honest, I think kind of being a little bit outside, it gave us, we didn't have any alliances to South London or North London. So we were just going wherever. Like wherever anything was, we were on it. So whatever nights, Dill Real, or it was mad. You would go places and you would see people, you would hear about people would get into ciphers, you end up outside, like just the love of the game as well. Like the show was done, but everyone's outside wants to rap. And it's like no one wants to go home. Everyone wants to freestyle, and you just want to be in it. And then someone would just come into. I remember being at Kung Fu, and Kalashnikov. Kalashnikov is big at this time. He's already Kalashnikov, and he starts spitting the verse for Murder, and the song wasn't even out yet, and everyone just like, what is going on? Like, what are these bars? Like, how is this happening? But like, to be in that space of like feeling like, yo, it's happening in real time. Yeah. Like you're in the midst of it. Like there's a storm and you're in the eye of it. And just to be able to catch bits. And I remember speaking so when I got my single signed, I had a conversation with Tom Weller. And Tom Weller was the head of the label. And he was saying to me, oh, like, I was saying, I feel like this is the golden era. And he was like, nah, what? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, bro, trust me, this is the golden era. You're gonna see it. And like, when I think back to like 2003, maybe a little bit before that, but to like kind of like 2006. To me, that era is crazy. Like,
yeah, dude. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie for 1 second, but because. So without going way back, you know, before the beginning of time, let's just say the hip hop for me that I'd got into, I think like most people, was the US thing. Being like a kid of the 80s, sort of grown up enough to know what was going on by the mid 90s, and you're kind of finding your own path and you're trying to find your calling in the music. And I've always had a very eclectic choice if given it, but I found I was lucky enough to meet like probably one of my longest friends in Aylesbury, and he kind of started putting hip hop under my nose.
Okay.
And dude, so Matty Lloyd, got to give a shout out to Matty Lloyd, man.
Big up.
Like, he put hip hop under my nose, and like before that, like this is a gnarly one, yeah. We're going on a deep therapy session here. My biological father, I haven't had a lot to do with him. In the very small time that I did have anything to do with him, the guy was banging iced tea in his car, dude. In like some old beat out like automatic Mercedes C-Class or some shit. Like, oh no, it was an E. You know those ones that everybody had? You know?
The E, I love the E.
Yeah.
The old E, yeah?
And he come to pick, so he took me to a football training. And
Okay.
like, so he used to play in like Sunday League and stuff. And he rocked up, picked me up. And the next thing I know, I was like, what the hell is this dude playing? Because he used to be a biker back in the day. So like, what does this guy know about iced tea? Yeah. And I was like, damn, man. And then Matty was like, nah, you need to listen to this. Yeah. And then he just brought it, didn't he? He brought like, we're talking like nappy heads, like Fuji's vibe. And then just before you know it, everything's come out. And we're talking about your boot camp clicks, your Mob Deeps. Dude, you know the list.
Yeah.
You know, and I was really lucky. I happened to work with somebody else at the time that had got some turntables, had fallen into a little bit of debt, and the universe shone on me. It was one of those like, dude, do you want some turntables? And I was like, hell yeah, I want some turntables. And there was like, he goes, look, I ain't got many records, but you can just have them. One of them was Big Ting, Rodney P, with
Sick.
Worldwide on the B side.
Sick.
Yeah. The other one was The Planets, and it had like Maestro, like Mice Diggy, and there was a couple of other records, but not anything to be like, not on the UK thing. But for the first time ever, man, I played that Rodney P track and was like, damn, like this is like we're doing it in the UK, and like these boys, and then obviously you got to go because it's the London posse, and then boom, people are like, have you not heard about Skinny Man? Have you not heard about Task Force? Have you not heard about, you know, you're going all the way back to like Silver Bullet. You know, people start educating you, you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously, that must have been 2003. So you got to do the back catalogue and everything that's happening.
Crazy.
And dude, at that time, this is where these vinyl, I was, man, and going back to saying about just being on that fringe of London, I didn't have the joy of just going and getting to a record shop.
Yeah.
Like, we were really fortunate to have Record House in Aylesbury. Okay. And I remember them selling some, like, they'd always have some, like, local or just not even bootleg, really, but just, like, if people had mixtapes, man, they'd end up on the counter. And that was one of the times where I got my hands on The Answer.
Come on.
And, dude, mind.
We had the game. See, again, it's like understanding the time you're in and understanding how do you get into this game. And I met Answer. I was working in Watford at Virgin Megastore, and he was working there as well. And my wife was working there as well at the time. So we get talking about UK hip hop because we got a few and I'm like, I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I DJ, I produce. What do you do? I rap. He's like, oh, sick. All right, cool. Like, who do you know? I'm like, I'm reading off names. He's reading off names. I'm like, he's like, yo, come to mine and we'll just do some freestyling and some mixtape stuff. So we had done that. Which worked out really well, and then we would go to gigs together because at the time, again, Answer was the driver. I didn't drive, so Answer would drive us everywhere. Everywhere we would go, and then so this is before I've even put any music out. Really, this is way before Jobless, and we're in all these places around all these people, and then we start thinking, yo, if we put a mixtape together and put their tracks on it, how about we put our tracks on it as well, and then people would do that. I mean, people would kind of get to know us.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what we did. Even the way, our brains work. We started it at volume 10. That was the first one you could get, was volume 10. And the reason we started at volume 10, because we wanted people to think that we've been doing it for a while. So there weren't no like you know, coming in and I mean, that's how we started. We came in at volume 10. I think we went to volume 17. I think 17 was the last one. But like the whole thing was just like we're like we want to be in the game. And it's so funny because people outside, they didn't realize that we weren't as big as them. They're just like, oh, Arts and Genesis, you don't make the mixtapes or whatever. Can we be on it? And we got exclusives from everybody. Tommy Evans was the first person for me and Answer to really like hook up with, who was already in the industry. So he was the first person who took us. I think my first outside of London show was in Cambridge. I went with Tommy. He was the first person that took me. So we're getting exclusives from Tommy Evans, from Jess, from Kalashnikov, from everybody, right? From Sway, like everyone, because they're just like, there's no one else really doing it how we were doing it. So just because of that, we just, in a couple of steps, we put ourselves like in the same bracket as everybody else pretty much, just because of how we were doing it. And like, I remember getting a shout out from Young Gun, from Essa on the album, like going crazy. Like, are you serious? Like, this is nuts. Even like my relationship with Kalashnikov, like I talk to Kalashnikov probably at least once a week. And that all started then. That's how it started. It started of me just going, yo, you're the best rapper I've ever heard in my life. How do I get down? Like, I just want to be around this vibe. I want to learn from you. Like, how do you do what you do? And that's kind of how it all started, man. Answer was a bit of a genius as well, of like putting it all together, and he's a worker as well. I hang around grafters, man. I'm around people that just want to put work in. It didn't matter where was the show. We're gonna be there. Doesn't matter where it is, when it is. He's gonna come pick me up. We're gonna go there. We're gonna be outside. We're gonna sell CDs. Like, we're gonna split the money and be out. Like, you know what I mean? That's how we did it.
And dude, like, I've got to give you more props, man, because you're still here now, but you've always been ever evolving, and
100%.
also never ever afraid to get outside the box. Get the box, throw that out the window, and just stomp your own path, dude. Because like, and I could have like, I was really fortunate while doing the rabbit hole in earlier, man. I didn't realise, but let me get this right, because I always mess it up. Is it the creature from beneath the mainstream? Yeah. Now, you've got a documentary for that, right?
For Man-Made Monster, yeah, making that video, yeah.
All right, because I need to check that out, because dude, like, so I remember, and if the viewers remember this, obviously Tiny Temper dropped a track many moons ago now. It feels like only maybe a couple of years back, but like it was a long time ago, man. A track called Pass Out. And I remember hearing your version of Truth Out.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I don't want to blow smoke, dude, but got to give flowers where flowers are due and all that. You've always been, like you said earlier, dude, you've always tried to put out the hardest track, lyrics, like, and go all in. Now, I remember the first time I heard that remix, and I was, man, the mainstream track went mainstream, it blew. And I think there was a few people that, the beat was everywhere. And then I remember hearing you on that, and then you going into that, like, sort of two-time.
Double time bit. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, losing my absolute shit when you stepped up to like drum and bass MC level on it. And I was like, oh my days. Like, this has changed the game up. Now, spin on until, so when did you drop Man-Made Monster? Was that 2 years ago already?
You know what? That's probably 3, man. Actually, no, I'm be real with you. Originally, that track actually dropped in 2019.
Okay.
It actually dropped before we went into lockdown, the year before.
Right. Okay.
And I dropped it, and it didn't really make any noise. Like, nobody really checked for it. It was part of because what had happened is the album had dropped in October of 2019, and then Apple had taken it off because of sample clearance issues. So Man-Made Monster got taken down because of the sample I had at the beginning of the song, the film. So I took the whole project down, and I didn't put it back up until 2020. And then when I put it back up, I put it up with a video. So
Dude,
the video
who's responsible for that video?
I made the video. I did it in my front room, or in my bedroom. Yeah.
Because, dude, one, I've had to listen to that a few times. Like, as I say, I checked out the music for a little while, man. My ears gone back to, like, an average human being. And I had to listen to that too many times, man. And even now, I'll be real with you, I listen to that track a lot of times. And still, every time, man, I'm just left being like, I got to hear that bit again. Like,
you get into zones, though. I think, to me, it's like...
But where was that zone, man? I think you'd embodied the monster, dude.
But to me, that's like, that kind of stuff isn't difficult for me. And I don't do it a lot because I could do it way more. But again, it's like...
It's got power when you do it, dude.
To me, it's there's when I was younger, like I said, I was always trying to body the track. I'm trying to body the track, and like, I'm trying to kill MCs. And me and Wordsmith, like, again, going back to the Tom Caruana days, we would sit and we would think over patterns, and we would go, nah, like, this line, it doesn't rhyme with this line, it rhymes with two lines after. We were doing magic with lyrics and just like, but I was in a house. It's funny, it's almost like nowadays you have content houses. Back then, we was in a rapper content house because there was me, there was Wordsmith, there was Terror, there was AC, there was Drama, there was Tej. So I'm with guys who, like, Tej is somebody who's super underrated and most people had never heard of. Tej was cold, like, and we're trying to do magic with lyrics, but that's only cool for us. That's really scaring the hoes music. Now, it's like, forget trying to make the most intricate cake. Make a cake that tastes nice, because at the end of the day, music is to be consumed in one way or another, right? So how should the music be consumed? So every track can't be a man-made monster, but every now and then you kind of got to just, for the rappers, to let them know,
just let it go.
Listen, yeah, like if we're gonna have this social contract that this is what we deem as being a tough lyricist, I just want all of you to know that at any given moment, I can take all your heads off, right? And that's like how it should be. And it's a small circle. There's not a lot of people that can really get in that bag and hold their own in it. And so every now and then you kind of just got to jump in and just be like...
And like, this is the one thing that I like. So, and I think this was happening in, again, man, my brain shot. Lockdown done it to me, dude. Like, lockdown reset and, like, done some weird programming thing where, like, it's like before, it's like, it's changed up the BC context.
100%.
Yeah?
100%.
And, so you started dropping these tracks. Now, please, man, like, you might even help my rabbit hole here. Was this from just a project? Was this from an album? Or was this just you on your I don't know, downtime? Like, I don't know if that's ever possible. But a track called Penny, Love, Strong One, 1981, Hollywood, and Gone. You went through this little roll of putting videos out where, dude, the video on a concept thing was just out of the box. And then what you were doing with it was just like, again, I love the fact that if the mainstream was in a box, you basically scrunched it up, poured paraffin on it, set fire to it, and threw it out the window.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to remember, like, again, it's all in context, right? So you've got that year is a year of, like, really good music. So Blurred came out in 2019, in 2020. So Blurred came out. The reason why Blurred came out,
dude,
was because,
let me just stop you there. Was that 2020?
Yeah, because what had happened, because Vision was ready, but it was lockdown. So they were like, yo, we can't put out an album because it's lockdown. So what are you gonna do? So I'm like, I'm having meetings with the PR people, and I'm like, well, what shall I do? They were like, well, you can put something out in the meantime. So I made Blurred in 8 days. So I made Blurred in literally just over a week. And funny enough, I feel like Blurred might be one of my best albums, but like it's not one that really gets a lot of play. Like none of the songs do really well on streams. It doesn't do well on Bandcamp, but as far as like for me personally, it's a very personal album. But it just kind of happened and was done. Then Vision drops. So now I'm in a place where Vision was ready to go big, but the issue I had was I didn't have enough time to put out the music I wanted to put out. So I'm like, let me just drop Vision. And if Vision had the correct time, Vision would have been massive. And I say that Vision has done 1 million streams on Spotify, so it's still my biggest album like ever. But if it was done correctly, it wouldn't have been forced out within like a month or a couple of months. It would have been the whole year. That's what Vision would have been. So Vision was supposed to be the 2020 album, which is why it was called Vision, 2020 Vision. So that was the whole purpose of that album.
Yeah.
Blurred came before because it was all messed up, so it was Blurred Vision, which is why they have the same covers. But
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
because I want to say I've got Vision, because I know you done like the glasses.
Yeah.
With the shirt and with the album.
Yep.
But I still, again, I always get confused because one, it's around that changing point in like our lives, dude. That's some weird,
100%.
Weird stuff. Because I know obviously after that, and I'm hoping my timelines are right here, but you obviously came out with, was it Dumb and 40?
With what?
What was the track? Was it Dumb and 40 or something?
A Fool at 40.
Fool at 40. And there was
so
like...
that's part of that album is A Prophet in His Hometown. So Vision is like a really grime heavy, feature heavy album. So Vision was really made for kind of like, I knew it was going to stream well, and I was getting a lot of play from the grime playlist. So I was like, that's going to do well. That's for that. A Prophet in His Hometown was a rap album. So that was more.
Did that carry? Was it Sleeper Pick?
Sleeper Pick was on that. Yeah.
Okay, because dude, you went on like, there was a bit of a spiritual kind of honesty coming out at that time, man. And I remember, because there was a track that you put out that was almost with the effect and the change that lockdown had.
100%. So that was Breakdown. So Breakdown is the first song on the album, and it's a story, man. So it starts with Breakdown and it goes all the way through to Breakthrough, and that is kind of like the year that we all lived through.
Yeah, because that was just gnarly, man. And I don't like really talking about it too much because, again, it's one of them things where YouTube and the whole world got a little bit funny about it. But
to be fair,
like, you had this really like honest, creative time out of it, dude.
I did, but at the same time, like obviously everyone's dealing with what they're dealing through. So I think Blurred is probably a much better snapshot of that time. So Blurred is really like kind of like what it felt to be like in real lockdown. So Blurred is that. A Prophet in His Hometown is really kind of coming out of that. Yeah. But it starts with Breakdown because you're really dealing with the aftermath of what's just happened. So it might not be for you. And for me, it wasn't for me. It was family issues I had to deal with. So it was kind of coming up of a time where how do you vocalize and talk about something that's so painful without really talking about it? Because the pain, like the reason isn't really that important. Everyone's going through what they're going through, but it's like, how do you really kind of like encapsulate that in a song, and where does it lead to? So again, the whole album, it goes all the way through to Breakthrough, where you kind of go, but did you die? Nah, okay, cool, you're here, right? So, okay, then what is next? Like, what is next for you? What's next?
That leads to a nice, beautiful thing then, because one of my questions on my notice board behind is, What's in store in 2024? What's your plans, dude?
There's loads of I put out a thing, a little post the other day about all the albums that I want to do. The sequel to A Creature Beneath the Mainstream was supposed to be out in October, but it hasn't been. It didn't come out. The single came out for it, but then nothing else came out after, which is fine. What I've learned to do now is things happen in their time. You don't have to rush anything. There's music that I've made in 2015 that no one's ever heard and will hear today and be like, oh, it's brand new to them. So it doesn't matter when songs come out.
Just on a random one, are you much of a reader? Are you an audiobook kind of guy?
Like there's certain books that I like, certain books that I've read, but I'm not.
Have you had anything come on your radar about this book that Rick Rubin's done?
No.
Right. Okay. I always butcher the name. It's like How to Live Creative, A Way of Life or something.
Okay.
Dude, I'll send you the link, man. I think it'll be right up your street because it's one of those things where, I'll be honest, I always try to take off more than I can chew. Yeah. I am definitely trying in my own mental little way to take over the world. I'm like, what was that? Was it? I don't think it was Little Britain where he was like, Dennis Waterman. I want to sing the theme tune, write the theme tune.
Write the theme tune, yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's me. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I've been struggling a little bit recently to get back in that childlike zone where you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, not trying to hit the masterpiece every time.
All right, cool. So when we were talking about the album with Penny and Love and all that kind of stuff, that's what that was. Because I was burnt out, man. By the time I got to the end of the year, bearing in mind I'm dropping a track every week. When I got to the end of the year...
When you're doing like freestyles as well? There was loads of freestyles.
I might have done a few freestyles. I probably did. But like, I don't even count them as tracks.
But a track a week.
I'm sitting there, so we would probably start about maybe Tuesday, kind of figuring out what kind of vibe we want to go for, what beat we got, and then we would go over stuff, and then I'd probably record it on maybe Wednesday. Thursday, I send it to Shapes. Shapes would mix, master it, and Friday we put it out.
Now let's try to put this in the light because I need to try to get this in my head. So that's one thing. Most people would see that like a good week, yeah? But what else is going on in Jen's life at that time? I imagine you're like, so you work with like, I don't know how to, you're a youth worker, right?
I was, at the moment, I'm not doing youth work, but at the time I was doing youth work.
Were you still doing shooting videos and stuff, or was that off because of lockdown?
No, I did a whole bunch of videos in lockdown. I think for Vision, I've done videos for almost every song. Apart from like the ones I didn't do, I did lyric videos for.
And was that, my brain, dude, I drink too much coffee. Was that at the same time? Didn't you have a tune for like Sainsbury's or something?
What did I do? I've done a whole bunch of advert stuff, but like. And
you shoot product photography as well, right?
To what?
You do like product photography, like on the side.
No, I haven't done that. No.
Right. Okay, but I'm thinking you do all of that,
whole bunch
and you still do like dad and like partner and business. Dude, what's the magic trick? What's the secret ingredient?
I don't think there's any secret, man. I think a lot of things get not done properly. I think that's my secret.
That's real, man. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
that's real.
So I feel like there's no such thing as a work-life balance. I think I've become...
You just do a bit of that. Just keep it juggling, man.
I think I've become a slightly better husband and father over time.
Yeah, dude.
But again, that kind of comes down to what you said about not... Because it's not the work that kills you, it's the stress. So if you cannot be stressed about things, then you'll be all right. So I think a lot of times is when you're stressing over the work, that's when you're not the best person to be around.
See, my worst, my downfall, dude, and many people have told me this, is the fact, because I still work a 40-hour week job. And
No.
on top of that, I'll come home, edit daily for the vlog, as well as obviously video and make content. Well, not make content, but gather content during the course of a day. Come home, edit. Then during the course of a week now, I sort of get some stuff together for a Friday night show and carry on doing like a Monday to Friday job. And that Monday, Friday job just takes all of the creativity and all of that sort of, I don't want to use an old term like pizzazz, but it just takes that. It never takes the hunger, but it takes a certain something out. It beats you down, man. And
it definitely does, man. It definitely does. But I feel like you've kind of got the balance isn't the work-life balance. The balance is, do you want to go on holiday? Like, do you want a nice car? Do you want a nice house? Do you want a new kitchen? Do you want a nice garden? Like, that's the things you got to think of. So I think before, all I cared about was music. And I knew one day I was going to get to a point where like a big check was going to come, which is cool for me, but you have to remember you're not alone. You've got people around you. You've got friends, you've got family, you've got kids. Like, there's a lot of things I had to sacrifice before I realized, oh, do you know what? Actually, that stuff is more important. And I feel like once that stuff's sorted, then it becomes easier to be creative. Yeah. So it's I don't know how to put it, man.
Well, it's funny because I think like having your ducks in a row lets that sort of inner freedom, that voice, just amplify because you haven't got all of the stuff nailed.
Having money makes it like that's the bit, man. Because you have to remember as well, like when I talk about like the golden age of UK hip hop, we were so broke.
Yeah, dude.
But we didn't care because
we had just all like, for the love of it.
Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. All that mattered was, do we have money to do the things we want to do? Yes, we do.
Can I get to the show?
Cool. But now, as you become an adult, that's the bit that probably hurts me the most. Is like seeing a whole bunch of rappers who kind of carried their childhood on into adulthood, and you kind of. One of the things, there's certain courses that I'm writing, and even the podcast that I started, which is going to start up again soon, which is how to be an unsuccessful rapper. And a lot of that to do is like, if you have a hit song, your life it's going to be all good. You're going to be cool. You don't even need too many. Just get one. If you can get one hit song, you'll probably be okay. You'll probably be comfortable. But what happens if you never have a hit song? Then what? So these are the things you got to figure out. And to me, that's been my strength. My strength is figuring. I'm gonna find out how to make some money. Trust me. Like, so it's like, if I'm not gonna be able to make a hit, what do I need to do to be able to follow my dream and make some money from it? Yeah. Oh, the streaming is the labels don't want to take us. Let's burn CDs. How many CDs can we sell in a week? Okay, cool. Let's do that then. Oh, CDs are dead. All right, cool. It's streaming. No money from that. Where do we get money from? Shows and merch. Cool. Let's do that then. Yeah. The verses, we're not really not getting money from music as far as like the stuff we're doing. But who does have the money? TV. Okay, we sell it to them then. Like, it's just figuring out like where the money is, because what you hear all the time is there's no money. If there's no money, who is living in them big houses? Because they're not empty. So
who's someone's behind them doors, man?
Right, and they got money. What do they do?
Let's go bang on them doors.
Right, and I feel like that's the bit that a lot of rap, like everybody wants to keep it real. And I used to be in that camp as well. Nah, man, I keep it real, man. We're from the mud. We get it from the mud. No, you're still in the mud. Like, we're trying to get out, really trying to get out from the mud and really try to figure out how do we get out of this spot. And it's such a mental thing in hip hop, because in hip hop we're conditioned that anything above the underground, the mainstream, is like, that's weak, man. That's whack.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is there's a dichotomy there, isn't there? Because there's like keeping it real, keeping it like street, and then all of a sudden, the minute you made it, you sold out.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell out. Like there is, again, you could like The
I love
discography is
your
all there.
honesty and just the reality of it, dude. The
Because
straight reality of it.
I'm too old, and I've been in this game really from the inception, like when this all started. I remember seeing Chip selling CDs at 15 years old. Like I've been around Tiny Temper when Wifey Rhythm first dropped. Like I've been in the studio with Sway. Like all these rappers that you see coming up, I've been around them. Little Sims and everyone who's ever come up, they had to come past me at some point because I've been here, right? So I've seen how it works, and to me, it's never about like staying where you are or being stagnant. Like I want to move up. I want to do other things. I'm not afraid of anyone having an opinion of me that they don't like. When people were talking about, oh, you do too much auto-tune stuff, I did a whole EP called Suck My Auto-Tune Dick, like how to lose fans and alienate listeners. I did that because I was like, I just don't care about your opinion enough. I literally make music that I like. It's just for me. And when we're talking about that album with the videos that I did, like none of you can fuck with me. That album was put together. It was just a time where I didn't even know I didn't think anyone was gonna hear it. I definitely wasn't gonna put it on streaming, but it was on Bandcamp, and it was just I wanted to do something at the end of that year that was just for me. Like I didn't want to be no hooks.
That's like almost like tunneling into the true creative.
100%. That's it. That's all I wanted to do, and that's probably my biggest selling project on Bandcamp. Like that. Dude,
I've got to send you this link to this Rick Rubin book, man. Seriously, what you're saying here is you'll read or listen to it on this audio, and you'll just be like, oh my god. It's I don't know if you've had certain points in your life where you like, it's almost like some deja vu stuff, or you keep crossing the same information, and then all of a sudden the penny drops and you're like, I think maybe it might even tie back into what you were saying about like going like the wrong way around it earlier.
100%.
And then you just have those moments where you're like, oh, that's why it's almost like the same message has been being slid under my nose. And it's like, I don't know whether maybe it's ego or something that gets in the way, because you're like, now I'm just on my thing, man. I'm just doing my thing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that is my thing. That is that.
I think that's a human thing, man. It's really tough because I think there's two sides. Okay, do you know what? I'm gonna break this down like this, yeah. My favorite car was my Fiesta, right? I love my Fiesta, and the reason I love my Fiesta was because it was the first car I bought. I had a plan.
Dude, you can't tell me nothing. I'm still rocking the Golf, dude.
Yo, but that's a classic. Like, that's a classic car. But this is the thing, yeah. This is the thing I noticed, right? So when I had a plan, I always got a plan. So my plan was I'm gonna get the Fiesta, and the Fiesta was that's all I could afford at the time. Like the Fiesta was like, I had a budget. I think my budget was like $8,000 or something, yeah. And I looked at loads of cars. I knew what engine I wanted. I knew what color I wanted. I knew everything. So I got that car. Wicked, cool. Loved it. Like I had a goal and I got it. Yeah, then the jump from that, I wanted to get the Focus. Cool. Got the Focus. Wicked. Loved that car. Loved it, yeah. Cool. Never really had anyone come up to me and be like, yo, sick car, bro. No one ever did that, yeah. No one ever did that. So then I'm getting my next car from the Focus has to be the Mondeo, right? I love the Mondeo. I love the look of the Mondeo. Love it. So I go to buy this car. At the time, my wife's in hospital, or she just come out of hospital. And I'm like, God, yeah, I need to get a new car. So yeah, that's gonna be the car I go for. The day I go to get it, there's another car on the lot. It's the 5 Series, right? And I'm like, they're almost around the same price, really, like pretty much. And I was like, I'm not really like, I do like the 5, but I wasn't really like, I love the Mondeo, man. I loved it. That's what I wanted. So I'm talking to the guy and he's like, yo, but it's the 4-wheel drive Mondeo. It's like, it costs more to service and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, I don't really care.
It's
That's
the
what I want.
Mondeo.
But he's talking me out of it. So then I just go, all right, I'm gonna get the 5, man. I'm gonna get the 5. So I get the 5 and had to do a bit of work on it or whatever, but cool, got it. Like, from the day I've had that car, every day a stranger comes up to me, oh shit, that car's sick, bro. Like, and people that have known me forever, yeah, I pull up to like, the other day I was with my cousin, innit? And he's like, are we, like, where you parked? I'm over there. What, that's you, yeah? Oh shit. Like, everybody loves that car. Everyone loves that car more than I love the car. I do love the car.
Are you in the Beamer but secretly thinking of the Mondeo?
But every time I see the Mondeo, I'm like, yo, that's cold. Because this is the thing. Some things are for you, but some things are for other people.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ego thing, a lot of it is like, we do things because we know how other people are going to perceive it. But for us, we'd be happy in whatever. Like, we really know what's for us. And I think even with business and music, there comes a point where you have to kind of get that balance to kind of figure out, go, what do I actually really like? Like, what do I like?
Yeah.
Because what you'll find is it doesn't really matter what other people like. They ain't got to live with it. Those tires cost £280 a tire. Like, that's expensive. I've got a service coming up. That's $1,500. Like, you know what I mean? Like, any issue that happens with this car, it costs a lot.
Yeah.
They ain't got to pay for it. All they got to go is go, yo, bro, that car's sick. My tires for my Ford Focus were like £80 each. Like, it was simple back then.
Yeah,
so
dude.
There's a lot of things that you kind of have to go, is this what you want? And I remember, like, when I talk about the Wembley show and not really enjoying it, one of the things I noticed was it was with Matt Goss from Bros, right? So he's a megastar, like, in his world, yeah?
Yeah, dude. And
it's all fake, man. It's like, it's his life, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just these little things like I go to meet him, like, yo, wait. You need to get the cameras ready. Like, wait, like, what? Like, what are you talking? Like, that's how it is. And it's not real. You're not experiencing life in a real way. And I walked away from that thinking to myself, I don't need to be that famous, and I don't want to be that famous. Like, I just want the stuff for me. And again, it kind of, when we talk about, like, you see big artists and they do wicked with the streams and they're doing amazing, but their overheads are super high. And we see artists who will tell you, yo, I've done all these sales, but I ain't got no money. And it's like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, okay, well, you're doing it all wrong. That's not what I'm here for. I just want to do my music and make real money. And I know how that's done. And I feel like say, doing, sometimes you're right, because it did feel like I was doing it the wrong way, but really I wasn't. I was really learning how it should really go, because one thing about my journey, there was no smoke and mirrors. It was all just, it was what it was. And the mainstream industry is all smoke and mirrors, but we call it marketing. It's how it's supposed to look. And it is cool. Like,
it looks pretty, man. It's the BMW, dude.
Huh?
It's the BMW.
It really is. And everyone's like, yo, this is amazing. But it's like, my BMW doesn't have a heated windscreen. My Ford Focus had a heated windscreen. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, again, you're getting some things, but you're losing other things. So it's like,
dude.
It's all of that. It's man.
I think that's a gnarly analogy, dude. With the fact that like, the way you've done it is Ford Mondeo, man. The mainstream is 5 Series.
What do you love? Like, what do you love? Like, what's it for you? Because you're gonna be in this position. If you're lucky, you're gonna be in it a long time. I was on TikTok the other day, and I was watching a live with Lady Leisha, and she was saying how she's quit music because of all the stuff that's just happened or whatever. And I was just like, she's done a lot, yeah. And I guess she's quit music and she's probably going to go into TV stuff and whatever. But I'm like, music is what you love, though. Like, music was the thing that you would want to do forever. And to get that taken away, you couldn't pay me enough. So someone said to me, yo, all right, listen, I'm gonna give you 5 mil, but you can't make music anymore. Not even you can't release music, you just can't make music. I couldn't do it, man. I'm like, nah,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
good. Like, because I just feel like I can make that 5 mil myself. Maybe if it's 10, I might go, all right, cool. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna shut up. You can have my mic. But like, again, it's like, what do you? It's give and take. What do you give? What do you take? And I think there's a lot of mystery in the industry. There's a lot of things in the industry that people don't understand.
There's a lot of stuff, man, that if you ain't close to it or ain't got your nose pressed against the window, you'd never know existed either.
100%, like 100. And I talk to people again. I'm so low. I'm like on the outside of the industry. I'm not even in the industry. I'm just on the outside, but I'm close enough to be able to look in and see what's going on certain levels. But I speak to people who are really in them Kanye parties, like who are really like in those places. And the things that they say to me and tell me about certain things, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that, man. That's not, to me, that's like, it's not.
So, dude, this is gonna. I don't want to keep you all night. I would love to keep you here for the next 4 hours, and we'll turn this into a whole documentary, dude. But the one thing that I've got to ask you: when's the ukulele album coming out?
It could happen, bro.
Dude, now, as you can see, we got a little Hawaiian theme going on, yeah? And I ain't even going to lie, there are people in this chat that are currently in Hawaii as we speak.
That's cool.
Yeah? So, you know, we're reaching all four corners of the globe right now. But, dude, I will be really, really disheartened if we don't see a ukulele Christmas #1 by Genesis Elijah.
Could we do that? Could it be... It could. In my mind, I can already think of a way that I can make that work.
It's done. It's already done, dude. Like if we go off the premise of any of the other things that you've thought about and then set out to achieve, I reckon it's already been a Christmas #1 last year, dude. Because you're just an animal for it.
I could do something authentic with a ukulele that's a Christmas themed song.
Dude, have you? And I'm gonna probably butcher this because I always butcher it while I'm trying to say it when the track ain't on. But Maliki Malahaka, I think it is. Have you ever heard that Christmas song? It's been getting a little bit popular lately. It's an old song. I want to say it's not Dean Martin, maybe even Frank Sinatra, something. People in the live chat might correct me, but it's basically what Hawaiians would say. It's Merry Christmas, wishing you a very Merry Christmas in Hawaiian.
Yeah.
I reckon you need to jump on it, dude. With a little bit of that uke in the background. Dude.
You can try something. You can try a thing.
Bearing in mind of the other things where you've just listened to that creative voice and gone at it, and where it then leads to, and the doors that it's opened, I think dude, from a fan to an artist, which was probably like, in the world, it don't happen often to be able to have this communication. And this is one thing that ever since I've followed you as a fan, and then got to meet you, and then to do something like this, they always say about like, don't meet your heroes. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to meet many of the people that I admire, look up to, and have maybe even ingrained like a certain work ethic or like lifestyle mindset. Yeah, you were definitely one of those, dude. You fall into that, and so to be having this conversation with you and have the communication in the 21st century that we do is amazing. But dude, I don't like blowing smoke, but credit where credit is due. You're just such a humble dude, and just so honest, brutally honest at times. And,
I feel that's the only way to be, man. I like the way that I see this stuff, all of this stuff. Yeah, I feel like all the content is important, and I feel like sometimes we don't even understand. There's a lot of times in history, yeah, where people find a snapshot of what's happened in the past, and they dig into it, and they want to know like, who made this pot, why did they make it, and this, like, all this kind of stuff. And I feel like one day in the future, people are gonna find this stuff, They're going to want to know, like, what were people in 2023, 24,
Well,
what were they
here's
talking about?
you saying that sparks an idea, because I think I finished it at the beginning of this year. I think might have been even last year. I think it's this year. I've done a documentary filmmaking course,
Okay.
and I had to come up with 3 ideas, and then one of those be the final thing that I go off in the avenue.
Sick.
I went a little bit self-indulgent and basically told more of a backstory on what led me to get to the vlog,
Cool.
to be doing a daily vlog. In my notes, and I've never ever, I don't like putting stuff out in the world, because if you put the idea out, somebody will jump on it.
That's true.
Yeah. And there's a few people that I thought, if I get close to doing it, I'm gonna poke and this is gonna happen, but I don't want to let it go.
Right.
One of the ideas was making a documentary, and it's probably been done, but revolving around, why did UK hip hop never get to where that US was? As in the way that it was accepted into a culture. Now, I know a lot of you guys, and I think even now, like, Europe embraced you lot. And like, obviously you said you've done shows all over.
Yeah.
But it was funny how, like, and again, I don't want to go off on a mainstream like thing, but it was just funny how people didn't get behind it, man. And like support its own grassroots and be like, let's not worry about what they're doing. Let's not worry about the Bronx and the Brooklyn. Let's look at the Brixton and what's going on. And I really wanted to come out and do this documentary to be like, go speak to all you guys and get you all involved. Just more so, not even to answer the question of why it didn't, but just to document and get that, like you're saying. Because at some point, people are going to look back, dude.
True. But I think that's such a deep, it's a deep question, yeah? But it has a really simple answer, which is kind of twofold. So you've got the artists who were making music just for their friends. So you're making music for a very small sample size, it's very niche, yeah? Which is cool. But it comes down to marketing. It's like you got to figure out when you have a product, you need to go, well, what's the market size? What's the market cap? Who's going to buy this product? And then you got to figure out, well, how do I make a product that they want? Yeah. So the issue was never with like the music just wasn't popular like that, man. It wasn't made for that.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to go. Even with my music, it's so funny. So I listen to a lot of my music, and I analyze this myself, and I'm like, why did my old stuff not pop like my new stuff? Well, my old stuff was really just to guys. It was just to me. It was like people like me, very small, cool. The new stuff is more broad, okay, but it's still not answering the question of going, because when we do. I'm all over the place here, but I'm gonna hit my point. When you talk to major labels and you talk about the product that they're pushing, the first thing they're thinking of is, well, who's the music for? How do we reach them?
Yeah.
They're never going, we're gonna make this, and then they're all gonna come to us. Mm-hmm. They're ready in mind. They're already thinking, how do we get this out to the world? And to get things out to the world, sometimes you have to be a bit broad with it, especially when you don't have the resources to reach everybody. Now you can be super niche, but because like there's no middle people, you have resources to reach people. It's okay. So a rapper like Earl Sweatshirt can have, I don't know how many Spotify monthly, last time I checked, it was maybe like 3-4 million. Can have 3-4 million monthly listeners on Spotify doing the music he makes, because he can reach the people. Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be broad. Whereas what we were doing, again, is twofold. We're making music for our little circle. The people who have the money aren't looking at it like, yeah, we can sell this to everybody, because you really couldn't. Yeah. It just wasn't. And when you listen to it, it didn't. Even now, you're like, I love Murder. Murder is one of the best UK hip hop songs ever. But can it, like, I don't know, maybe it hits TikTok and it goes viral, but even that, it's not a worldwide hit. This isn't
It's a
Billie
funny
Eilish.
one though, isn't it? Because again, like I don't know, I'm biased, dude. Because I was that dude sat in the bedroom. I was that dude with like my mates sat in a bedroom. I don't know, 90 miles away, probably not even that at times, and just being like, almost, maybe not naive to it, but like just inspired by the fact if these boys can do it, if these guys can do that, we can get on this. We can do this.
True, but then that's another problem because when you go to, when I talk about going to hip hop events back in the day, everybody in there rapped. Everyone was a fan. I'm sorry, everyone was a rapper. There was no fans.
Yeah.
It was just us, and we all did it. Whereas when you look at drum and bass, when you go to a drum and bass event, there ain't MCs in the crowd. People are going to have a good time.
Yeah,
so
dude.
the reason that they're even interacting with the product is totally different. Whereas,
See, that's an interesting thing that you've touched on there, dude. Because again, prior to me going off on a hip hop tangent, like I was a happy hardcore drum and bass junglist head, and I like that whole thing that we had come out of the UK
Yep.
was world class.
yeah,
And
100%.
again, without shamelessly plugging stuff, but am I right in saying that you're currently with a deal with a little V Planet?
Yeah, man, they're my guys, man. Big up Brian G. Like,
And you've also, again, I don't know if you've also got a track dropping this month with AC,
yeah,
or is it already dropped?
nah, 26. Boxing Day. And I've got a track with D&B All Stars coming out, I think, the week after as well.
Now, this leads me back to what crazy how like drum and bass come out of the UK as it did, potent, that jungle sound that just it defined an era.
100%.
And yet, you know, we're like, man, knocking on the door of 2024.
Yeah,
Probably we're talking what, 30 years on?
30 years.
And to feel like the UK hip hop scene came up, done its thing, and had its golden era, do we reckon that maybe in what, another 20 years' time, it could come full circle and it might get it being recognised as what it should have been?
Maybe for the sound, but you kind of got to go because this is the thing. People forget. People go like, oh my God, the Neanderthals are dead. And it's like, no, but the Homo erectus are still there. Like,
Yeah.
the evolution's there, innit? So it's like UK hip hop didn't really die because Central C just went number one. Dave just went number one. J Hus went number one. So
It definitely spurred
evolved.
and encouraged
Yeah.
and inspired a whole movement of its own. Because,
Yeah.
I don't want to alienate any viewers, but in the grand scheme of things, like, grime beats done it for me, but grime didn't do it. Like, maybe,
no, because I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying. Carry
you
on,
know,
sorry.
like, again, I was a bit of a jungle drum and bass head. So again, when them noises came out, man, and yeah, there was just a vibe that come out of that just made you want to scrunch your face up and just
Different.
like freak.
Yeah, different. I
But
think the
as
first time I heard,
the patterns, and obviously I like a storyteller or something that makes you sit back and reevaluate your entire life in like 2 minutes, you know, where you're like, oh damn. Whereas obviously they were just getting on really complex flows and the wordplay.
yeah,
And it's gnarly, and I credit where credit is due, man. But for me, I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just did a little bit set in my ways.
because you got to remember as well, like with all these different sounds and styles, culture is embedded into it, right? So
Yeah, dude.
the reason why UK hip hop. So again, I'm like you. So I started off with I was listening to Mobb Deep. I'm listening to Jay-Z. Like that's the hip hop. Wu-Tang. That's the hip hop I came up under. Yeah. So that's my foundation.
Yeah, the
So the
roots.
first kind of like UK hip hop I'm hearing is Task Force, and it's Cosmic Gypsy, and it's like, yo, this is a different world, yeah. This is sick, but it's still not at where I am in my life. It don't hit the way I need it to hit until I hear Kalashnikov. I'm like, oh, so now you're doing the clever wordplay, you're doing the punchlines, you're doing the abstract concepts, but you're bringing it right down to the road. You're bringing it right down to like the street level.
Yep.
So it just hits different. But really and truly, I'm into the poetry and the art of what it is. I'm not just into whether it be the clashing or the diss and that kind of stuff. So when grime happens, grime is more focused on that side of things. Mm-hmm. So it feels a bit younger. So to me, I'm just like, nah, you don't do your thing, but that ain't really my thing. Like, it's not, to me, it's not deep enough for me. It just doesn't, it's not hitting the way I really need it to hit, because it was young kids. The first time I heard Dizzy was 18. And I'm like, yo, this kid's
that
cold.
Boy in the Corner album though?
Crazy. Listen to that now. And you hear how raw that is. It is one of the rawest sounding albums. The mixing is horrible. The mastering is crazy. I don't know how it even got to where it got to, but it just fits. It's like,
but yeah, and it's one of them things where, like, yeah, it bangs.
Crazy. It's so sick. More Fire album. Listen to the More Fire album as well. Very similar. Dizzy's Thin Ice album, whatever. Like, those sounds, they're just something. They're just different. That Channel U sound, where that is just, it's his own era. But again, if you're not really like in that scene, it's not gonna hit you the same. Yeah. So the same with like drill now. So it's like, the sounds are cool, but the stuff you lot are talking about, I not only can I not relate to, I don't want to relate to. So it's not for me, but it's you lot, you're gonna take it somewhere else. And then you have an artist like Dave, who is from that era, who can do that stuff, but can also bring it to somewhere else as well. And that's how it evolves. And it's like, you listen to the first time everybody heard Gigs, we were just like, nah, it's too slow, man. Like, there's too many gaps in what he's doing. It's just not, it's not intricate enough. Weren't getting it, like, weren't understanding it. Yeah. Because again, it's culture. You're not.
I had a few people at the time, especially when all that was happening, with the likes of like Gets, Gigs. Was it like Jammer?
Jammer, yes, my guy. Yeah, man. Yeah,
like, and everybody's like telling me, "Oh, you need to give this a try. You need to give this a try." And like,
can't. It's too different. It's like, you ain't talking about what I'm talking about. I don't care. Like, and like me, like JME as a person, I've always loved what he does. I've never liked his music because I've always been like, nah, it's just too. It just don't do what I want my music to do. But I understand people who really get it and go, no, that's what I want from my artist. He's talking to somebody different, and I feel like even with American hip hop, when you start talking about Little Yachty's and Future and Drake to a certain extent is kind of different. But again, when you're talking about like the mumble rap side, I say Future, you're going, it's too different, but you're not understanding that this music is made for a certain culture, a certain time. It's you got to be in the place. If you ain't in a strip club, you're not even going to get it the way it's supposed to be got. So you can't be sitting in your flat, in your house in Watford.
That's really enlightened me on a thought, actually, because I've never seen it that way. I've never had it put that way either. And it's kind of interesting because I think like that's almost the same as I suffer when... So there's 7 years difference between me and my girlfriend. And the amount of times where I'll be like, oh, dude, have you seen this movie? And she's been like, no, I ain't seen this movie. And I'll be like, watch this movie. It's like the baddest movie ever.
Nice shit.
It was made in the 80s. She was
100%.
born in 91, dude. Yeah.
Cool.
So she'll watch it and she'll be like, what's this shit, man?
Yeah, ain't all that.
And I'm like...
When you was a kid, it was magic. She's watching it as an adult, like, what are you on? The Goonies is shit. The Goonies is not good. I don't know why people keep pushing it like it's a good film. It's not. I've never seen it. I'm never going to watch it because every time I see a clip, I'm like, it's
done. Yeah,
of course. Because you got to be in the moment.
As it is a Friday night live, what was your Friday nights growing up? What was... my camera might even die, so we might save this for another day, dude. We've already blown some time on this. And dude, I'm just gonna wrap it up and say, if you want to hang around, I'll catch you in the the green room. I
Green
think that's
room,
what they
I'm here,
call it.
yeah, man.
But dude, it's been a pleasure. And I hope the guests have been enlightened to this dude because he's an absolute legend. Jen, I'm going to get back to the show, do the outro, and I'll hook up with you after this.
Much love, man.
It's been a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you so much, dude. You've been an
guy.
absolute star. So, guys and girls, yes, the camera, the battery is running low, so I can imagine your energies must. I'm going to be quick. I'm going to wrap it up. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to leave a load of stuff in the description so you can go off down the rabbit hole of the man, the myth, the legend, the absolute star that is Genesis Elijah. As always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for taking the time out on your Friday nights. Stay focused, stay positive, stay awesome. And I'll see you same time, same place, 10:45 next Friday for kind of a run up to the new year. So until then, have a fantastic Christmas and I'll see you next week. Take it easy.
Cold.
Ah.